Nation here in Las Vegas. IMC Base 1 is behind me, soon to be a different IMC Base 1 as we move at the end of this month. And this is a stream about IMC Nation, which is a movement founded by AZD. That's the guy with all the face tattoos that you see in the clips. That's how we grow these accounts. And Master myself is on the other side of that curtain. It's an editing area where he's chopping up a bunch of clips for you guys to absorb and enjoy. And so that's what's going on here. It's the number one dating expert on earth, AZD, known for his multiple relationships with nines and tens. And I lived with him 4.5 years in a lot of different houses, about 6 or 7 different houses. Moved from California to here. I didn't live in California. I moved to California to live with him during COVID. And there was no game during that time because everything was shut down. He had 7 girlfriends at that time. And he had closed his women's fitness center maybe a year or two earlier to that. So and it was San Jose. He'd lived there for 35 years, so had a lot of connections with girls, etc. Big social media following at the time. It got blocked because of COVID and what he was saying, but he had a 95,000 account. It got deleted. Then he had a 12,000 account. It got deleted, and then I think he had another one that got to like 4,000 and it got frozen, and now he's on one that's like 2,000. He's mostly on TikTok now, like 35,000 or something there. But a lot of different things have been deleted over time. He has a 17,000 professional Instagram account that stolen. Has a 16,000 Facebook. He's got followers and fans all over the place. They're just kind of scattered and not, it's decentralized. So I took it upon myself to grow these accounts with clips from his lectures, the publicly acceptable clips, which is something I think hard to believe for people who know what this stuff is. They don't even get it. Like, we don't post anything about his girlfriends, talking about relationships, nothing about sex, which is like, that's the nitty gritty of the game, you know? And obviously, there's a lot of high disclosure, a lot of conversations with students that we can't even post about, but that's where you really see the alchemy of his communication. That's what's so valuable about coming in person or even being on the smaller attended classes, which are the more advanced, expensive classes. The smaller the group, the more availability you have to raise your hand, ask a question, get some personal guidance. But in person is really what you transform with. The guy is super, super, super sick in the game. It's like beyond. You have to see it. Tonight I had the blessing. I think I might be the only guy going out. Either other guys are working or they're out of town. There's 12 guys that moved here to Vegas that live here, and different limitations. I'm, as far as I'm aware, the only guy that's never missed a night going out with him. But that's my life is fully committed. I got AZD tattooed on my neck. I got IMC tattooed on my chest. I got a bunch of other IMC related tattoos. Like, I'm in the movement. You know what I mean? I am the movement. So, of course, I'm going to make it out. Even if I had to borrow money from my girl, which I have to make trainings with AZD. My girl knows I'm training with a seduction artist. And she's not the first girl. Like, she's been with me 6 years. But I've borrowed substantial thousands from at least 3 different women that were in relationships with me to fund AZD training. And they knew about it, of course. And they all got paid back. Actually, no worries about that because that's what a relationship is. Like, her money should be my money, and my evolution results in a better evolution for her. I do better, she'll do better if she's really with me. Now, if she's not really with you, then of course she's gonna have a problem loaning you money. She doesn't see herself with you in the future, so that's not what she wants to do. But if she sees herself in the future with you, then she should have no problem about it, even if she has a kid. So I don't know why I got on that tangent, but I get to go out with AZD tonight because nobody else is going out. I'm going to be the guy next to him, and we're going to be in this tight little club that's going to be packed and a lot of beautiful girls, and it's going to be amazing. And I tell guys, like Zach is on Zoom right now. We're about to talk with him. Bunch of guys. A lot of guys hesitate to come here. And Zach didn't hesitate, but it still highlights the same point that if you were here on this night as a resident, you'd be essentially getting a one-on-one going out with AZD to a top Vegas club. Iden is messaging me. That guy. I'm getting messages from George Copa and Iden at the same time. Master myself in the background. He's been around as long as I have, or longer, really. So he knows all these names that I've been saying. So that's going to be amazing because I tell you, the body language hacking. For me, I'll tell you a little bit. It's all been in the spine. The spine is the radio tower that's signaling to your environment. And you don't know, it's kind of like if you shouted really loud in a big open space that had no walls. Would you hear an echo? Nah, because there's no walls. And it's rare. That's what's so eerie and peaceful about big open prairie land or just a big flat land. Prairie still has bushes and shit, but if you were in a big open desert, It's really eerie because you yell as loud as you want and there's no sound back. And you don't know how much little sound, ambient sound is bouncing off of trees and houses and shit like that that lets you know you're there. But when there's nothing for sound to bounce off of, it's a really weird experience. And you don't know what your game is like until you're around women. That's the bounce back of your spine. That's the bounce back of your personality, of your attitude. And now a lot of guys are around women, but they're still alone in the game. So there's no real ping back of game, even if they're maybe trying. But guys are living in a desert of women versus I'm swimming in the ocean over here in Las Vegas. So Zach sees that and he's coming all the way from Florida. And man, I mean, I think he's known about AZD for years, if I'm recalling correctly, and finally made the plunge. A lot of fucking stars aligned that it now is the portal. I like that Eminem song, Rap God, where he's like something about, opening up the portal and out comes an immortal or something when he's rapping in the Rap God song. And so a portal is opened up where Zach can travel here from Florida and he's going to get some game. And I think you were just asking me some questions about the content I sent you. Because when you do an in person training, of course, I'm going to give you some content. It's not about the money exchange because without any of the content, the value exchange of the experience is going to really far surpass the 7.5G or whatever you sent for the thing. That's the training amount, and you won't know until you're here. And as soon as you're here, there's going to be a certainty. And then after a couple nights going out with AZD, you're going to realize that it's actually priceless because there's just nobody that you can pay any amount of money that would give you this evolution. We have to put a price on it because if we say it's $10 million, then maybe nobody buys it. And if we say it's $10, then we waste our time with a bunch of people that they're willing to gamble $10 to see if it's real or not. Same with $100, same with $1,000, and it's a time waster. So that's the pricing of the market is like who's going to bring what price is going to bring a dedicated student that's going to pay attention because this guy AZD is fulfilled with women and businesses with these women that he could stop going to strip clubs and stop going to the clubs and stop teaching us and he'd be making plenty of money going and having business with 5 girls that if he put his energy into that would grow a lot faster actually because he's already done it in Man Jose, California where there's not even women and he had a whole women's fitness gym that was killing it. And now here there's tattoo offerings and permanent eyebrows and makeup and skincare and massage and all this in a women's fitness center or whatever it is, women's transformation center. And that's his business. And that's game because he does exerts like little pinky amount of effort in it, just giving some directives to the girls. And the girls have been trained a lot because they've been with him a lot, just like my girl. It's amazing. I don't want to bore you with the story of what just happened with my girl over the last couple hours. That was just insane and it gives me so much more certainty on yoga and the connection between the mind and the body because of what you just went through. But we're going to talk with Zach. Zach is here, and you were just asking me about some content, and I was telling you about travel. You got a truck or something, and you're going to drive here 500
Yep.
miles a day. That's going to take about 4 or 5 days. What's up?
Hey, how are you doing, Chris? Nice to be on.
Yeah, right on.
But yeah, the content I was asking about it because I kind of unfamiliar with Google Drive and how it works. But anyway, I just wanted to say I haven't even made it through the first pillar alpha stack yet. I think I'm like four videos in, and the results I've gotten with that right there, and just those 4 videos is, I mean, I've been meditating for years now, and in the last, I don't know, I'd say half a week or so, the results are phenomenal.
Yeah, like
Release
what?
and yeah, it's great. So
Like what? What kind of results? Everybody wants to know. And I
just
just invited Alex, just asked to come live. So if Alex, you come live, I'm talking with Zach. I'll get with you in a second.
more ease, just a lot of relief, and you realize you're holding on to a lot of things that really don't matter.
Yeah.
Becoming aware of rigidity and or rigidity. I don't even know if that's a word, but
It
real
is a
rigid.
word.
Whenever you approach people, especially women, and making me aware of things like that about myself.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
Awareness is the game, bro. I'm telling you, because AZD teaches a natural game, and natural means you're not doing anything, but you align your default way of being. Like if you weren't trying to do anything, align that with the actual game, which is really what your nature wants to do, but you have a lot of education the other way. And so it feels wrong because you've always been taught to do it a different way. And so his teachings have gotten sharper and sharper over time to be able to guide the student to a place where he lets go of ideas, but still sees the code between men and women so that there is something to align to. It's not just chaos, ambiguity. There is a code. It's just nothing what you think it is because it's not a thought code. It's a natural code, so it's always shifty, contextual. It's a genetic expression of, you can't capture air like that. You can't capture energy. It moves. It's always moving. And so it's a dynamic. The social dynamics, you have to tune the instrument to perceive it more than memorize the moves or actions or things to do, because that'll just trap you in a very narrow experience. You know what I'm saying? Man, I don't mean to get in lecture mode. I should ask more questions. Right on. So you had some transitions with the Alpha Stack, the Alpha Alchemy series. Tap into the 2025 stack as soon as you can. You got a long drive to catch up with everything. I recommend get an antenna for your truck because there'll be big expanses in the Midwest where you won't have reception.
I see.
So you should be able to get like a $30 to $50 antenna extension for your car that just stacks in, plugs in your cigarette lighter or something.
Okay. Thank you for that information.
Yeah, because it sucks when you stack up all the things to study and then you have 6 hours you can't even get reception for it. But
Right
that's
on.
what I did when I was doing yoga. So I was in Gainesville, and that's when I was in Italy when I discovered AZD. But then I came back to Gainesville where I was doing my PhD. I went to Italy for studying. I came back, and I got back into AZD, and I started trying to do the game there, whatever. And I was expanding in Florida as I was teaching yoga to St. Augustine, and I didn't teach in Jacksonville till later, Tampa, Ocala, and then I graduated. I went to India, came back, but I was based in Florida and a couple other places that I would stay for longer expanses, but I would basically tour week to week, drive city to city to city to city for 3.5 years. That's what I did. And I would call ahead about 3 to 4 months, book an event, make the flyer, promo, ads, hit up everybody, get there a week early, take all the best yoga classes in the studio, invite people to my workshops, then teach the workshops on the weekend, and then go to the next city and stop in parks once a week to like walk around in nature barefoot or whatever for like 3 hours. And then I would study AZD every day. There was lectures, and I was just on it on the road, and uh, that's what I did up until COVID.
Right
So
on.
that's where I had experience driving around the Midwest where there's no reception, and it was frustrating. So right on. So I was just talking with you about what are you going to do after the 2 weeks? So you come in here for a 2 week residency, and you don't know if you're going to stay or if you're going to go. If you get here in about 10 days, well, you leave in 10 days. So you get here in about 14 days, 2 weeks. So that'll be around the end of the month, right when we're moving. That's a very exciting time. You'll see that transition because the thing about AZD is a living master. So everything you do with him is, it's not that he's a master of like blackjack or whatever. Uh, but he's self-mastered. So anything he does has his self-mastery in it, his level of intuition, going with the flow, changing decisions, making decisions, carrying his body, and everything he does, everywhere he goes, for the most part, there's a woman around. So you see it. Even when we went to Utah, he has some land in Utah, so we went to scope it out, and we stopped at this little rinky-dink gas station, Subway, and these country girls, and just seeing his game with them. Like it's just amazing how he relates to everybody. And so even moving from house to house, I moved many times with him in San Jose, and I moved to moved to Las Vegas with him, moved to the other house with him. A lot of moves. That seeing that transition, how he does that, because it's artistic, man. He lived with girls for many years, and he doesn't live with them now, but he's always hanging out with his girls. His demeanor and attitude is that of a apex player that's just always around beautiful girls and in deep rapport relationships. A lot of transparency, no chaos, a lot of harmony, coherence. And so that's unheard of. Guys don't even know a guy that has one relationship that's in coherence. And so it's insane. And let alone with a hot chick. Now, let alone with two or three, it's just unreal. It's so far out of reality of guys. And that is where, after just a little bit of exposure to AZD, you'll realize that your 7.5G is like, if you could afford a billion G, you'd afford a billion G, because it's like, this is what you want. He knows what the guys want. And he's just so hands off with everything. So it's my job to expand the accounts and have new brothers like you. Everybody was you at some point in a various context. I was you at some point in Florida, had med AZD. I paid 3.5G for my first one-on-one. It was one overnight, fly to San Jose, go to the strip club with him, which I didn't know anything about strip clubs. And then the next day, a bunch of lecture and go to lunch with him. And then I fly home. But I knew from all of those interactions with waitress, whatever, I was like, bro, this is mastery. Like, so much awareness. And then over the years, seeing him with other guys, coaches, students, top coaches, the contrast, other players. There was even a guy last night, we debriefed on it today. It was like, Rico Suave, all confident and dangerous looking and everything, and just had a really fine chick with him. And AZD just trumps him, like non-verbally, just crashes him with exotic dance movement and an attitude that doesn't give a fuck. And of course, his look and how he looks and everything. But you'll see when you meet him, he's actually smaller than you think he is. He's only 5'7". You can say that in your mind, but when you meet him, he has such a big personality. When you meet him, you're like, he's kind of a little guy. But he is that big energies, man, real big. Like, all right, I feel like fanboy over here. But you're already sold on it. So let's talk more about it. So you're gonna pick up, you're gonna drive here. You'll be here 2 weeks, so probably somewhere around the end of the second week in February. And then you're thinking maybe you're gonna stay in Vegas or you might drive back.
Perhaps. I really don't know yet. I've never been out there, so it's really hard to say what's going to happen. But hey, that's the exciting part, I guess, because you know,
It's just like everywhere else, brother. I've been in a lot of cities. I mean, it's a desert, it's a different kind of city, but I
it,
mean, have you ever moved ever anywhere?
yes, yes. I've lived in Georgia
Yeah.
and
As
South.
an adult, have you moved?
Yes.
Yeah. It's just like that, man. It's just you move cities. Now, if it's like employment or whatever, then start now. Apply online, get whatever base level shit you need, and then upgrade. Get it set up and established for yourself. Any free time you have, if you had any free time. This is where a girlfriend would come in handy. You'd be like, find me, apply some shit. Yeah. What kind of, and you're in the restaurant business. Hey, JD, do you have any connections? This guy is coming here for 2 weeks of residency. Yeah. Nah. Dang. Rick might, huh? Yeah, Rick would definitely. So yeah, talk with Rick when you get here. Okay. Mothies. Which strip club in San Jose did you go? Why are you in San Jose? Alexander, I thought are we live or not? It says remove you, but that means that you're on, but I don't see you. I don't know if maybe this tablet's outdated and it can't like see you. I would go to Rhino, Muthies. We would go to Rhino. But then we'd also go, I don't know, we went to all of them. In San Jose. Cheetahs, Score. Wait, it's not Scores. What is it? Sporties. Fucking Sporties. And what was this other one? We got kicked out of this other one. Cats or something? That was fun. Man, I wish we hadn't gotten kicked out of there. There were some pretty girls there that were like outsiders. I like outsider type girls. Um, remove your background noise. Would you guys hear a lot of background noise? All right. All right, Zach, do you have any questions about the travel, the training here, or what's in store for you? Probably not, because you already paid. So what questions would you have? Be like, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be hella fun, dude. So if you don't know if you're gonna stay out here, does that mean you're gonna basically pack up everything as if you're moving here, but then maybe move back?
I'll definitely return here to let everybody know that they need to make arrangements. By everybody, I mean my housemates in particular, and then yeah, to set up
I
storage
see. So
and
you're
stuff.
definitely not gonna stay on this trip. You're gonna drive out here and then drive back.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, man, dang. I thought I asked that a bunch of times. Mathis Sporties. Hey, do I know you from there? Or do you recognize me? That's kind of cool. Small world, you know? And if you stay in a certain community like a fucking underground underworld strip club nightclub, and everything that that leads to. Uh, you end up knowing a lot of the same people, I guess. Dang, that's a lot of driving, bro. You're gonna be on the road for like 8 days round trip. Why don't you just fly? Because you want to have a car while you're here for 2 weeks?
No, well, let me think. As far as there's a lot of things I really don't know about the trip yet, like as far as like clothing and stuff like that. I'm gonna be staying 2 weeks, so that's give or take 10 outfits.
Nah, I wear the same outfit every fucking night.
Oh, so it's like that. Okay.
Yeah, you just need one or two good outfits. Switch out shirts and shit, some jewelry.
Oh, flying is the luggage deal, you know.
Man, nah, don't be a girl about it. You just pack a big suitcase with a couple changes of nice clothes, a couple changes of day clothes, nothing tattered, nothing that doesn't fit. Have some clean shoes when you go out. Shoes are very important. Uh, just everything clean and fit. And when you're here, your style will improve. You'll have plenty of time to go out with Shamir or something and go shop or something to get some advice, get little trinkets.
Right on. Okay.
As far as money, the wear and tear on your vehicle, the gas and everything, it'd be cheaper just to get a plane ticket here and rent a car if you really needed a car. And you will if you want to drive around and prospect for jobs or whatever. But that'll save a lot of wear and tear on your body, a lot of time. You can even work those days instead of driving, so you make more money.
Hmm.
So if you do the, net, pros and cons, expense, benefit, whatever, income outflow, whatever. I think it's better to fly unless you were going to move here. That's what I was telling you on the calls, the last few calls we had, that if you're going to move here, then I get driving here. And that just takes faith, man. And 2 weeks is a short amount of time for that faith. Plus, I don't, moving here at the very best, you'd live in the second base. But the first base, I only want messengers living there because that's it's been taxing on me to be with guys that can't keep up with everything. And it's not going to make as much difference as a guest because everything is going to be so amazing for you. I've done this with hundreds of guys. It's going to be so amazing for you. And it may not be until the end that you realize that there is indeed a whole other level that is not visible to you as clearly yet as you approach that frequency of being because you'll harmonize very fast here and then you go through some nervous system transitions depending on your background and everything for a few days to a few weeks. It may take a few weeks. And so you may not fully get through that while you're here, but it just depends. It's a neuroplasticity thing. It's how many blockages you have in your own mind about things. And everybody's got landmines in their mind. They get offended by weird things or whatever. Nobody's really used to living with a bunch of guys and sharing bathrooms and kitchen and coordinating perfectly, pristinely, because that's what it takes. And that's what it takes with multiple relationships too, is pristine communication. And this is a training grounds for that. So you'll have that breakthrough, and then you'll see, and then you'll decide if you want
I
to
look
take it.
forward to it.
What's that?
I look forward to it.
Yeah, man. I look forward to seeing it in your face and all the testimonies that you're definitely going to give. It's going to be amazing. It'll just happen naturally. All right. Okay. So, what else do we got here? JD, anything else I should say? Kind of a long stream that didn't go anywhere. I feel like I haven't said much. I kind of jumped around. I said it was number one dating expert on earth. So, well, I don't like naming where I'm going, but Mathies, why don't you come on? Talk stripper game with us. I think Mathies is a professional dancer somewhere. I won't ask you any personal questions. You can use your professional name, whatever it is. Maybe Thies is your professional name. We'll get some dancer game. Ah, Zach got cut off. Dang. Oh, there he is. He's back again. What's up? Oh, you just turn off his camera. That's how it works. Do you go to strip clubs much, Zach? Or have you ever?
Yeah, occasionally. There's actually one half a mile from here. Thought about going tonight, but I decided to watch some videos instead
Yeah.
tomorrow then.
That is a decision, it's an all or nothing thing learning from AZD because along the way, there's a handful of students I can name that fall in this category, and it's going to be guys that they get some gains in the game as they learn some of his lectures or whatever. And then they have a decision. They got some money. Do they get advanced trainings or do they take that money and go practice game with it? You need to be able to do both because if you practice game with it, it's money down the toilet. You're barely going to get better. And the very best is really the worst is you're going to get a girlfriend out of it. And that girlfriend's going to take you away from the teachings. And then we'll see you in a year or two or five when you circle back. And I've been around long enough to see these cycles of orbits with guys. Or you get advanced training and you have a lot less money for game. Now, in that, there's going to be some other categories. There's guys that just keep investing in trainings and never practice game. Those are exclusively remote students because you can't get away with that living in Vegas. You have to go out and game or you can't be around us. And because that's really part of the character development, it's the whole thing, really. It's all calibrated for that. So if you're not doing that, then what happens is those students, they get really heady and spun out on the ideas because AZD's, deep in psychology and subconscious and everything. And they get really distorted and, you know, just out of touch. Or you learn a balance, which I learned, which is, and it varies. It's a razor's edge to walk, and I walked that razor's edge all the way into living with AZD for 4 years and being captain of IMC Nation right now. It's continued to be that razor's edge, and that is I never ever miss a training, and I never ever miss going out. So even if you don't have money and you go out, you figured out how to handle your own attitude about it and how to give value and how to make it work, and it'll affect your reputation, but you still do it, and you could also not do the training, and it just depends. So, why I was saying that is if I were in your shoes, I also would go for the videos for sure. Because the strip club game would just be like, I'm excited about going to Vegas, but really save it, bro. It's just going to be bad habits, whatever you do there at the strip club. Like, come, but it's fun also. That's also the purpose of the strip club. That's what it's there for. So if you really want to, I'm not saying don't do it, but if limited free time, you got some shit to study, you just dropped a bunch of money to come here and train, you're going to go to plenty of the better strip clubs in the world here, with the top player who games at strip clubs. Just save it for that experience. I would do. All right, maybe get a massage or something. Um, so right on. Let's see. Who we got people on TikTok too here? Rachy, Morningstar. Morningstar, I'm always seeing you on this thing, man. What's up with you? Let's talk game. Come live. What's on your mind, Zach? Anything?
Um, no, I was just thinking about the book as you were saying that the book that you recommended, The Mystery.
Mystery Method.
Yes. And
Did you
that's
finish it?
no, about halfway right now, but he talks about getting out there. That's the only way, you ain't gonna do it reading books or what's the other thing you said? Yeah, not reading books, not on the computer, not on dating apps. You got to get out there and apply this stuff. And that's what I'm doing. Spent many a times or many years reading about it, but never really reached out to anybody about taking that next step and getting initiated. And anyway, that's what I'm doing now. And
You went right to the top. You went
yes,
right to the top. AZD transcended all the mystery, even mystery. Mystery's gone out with us, and you're barely going to use anything that you see in that book verbatim, but the template of how the game is laid out there, how it's spelled out, courtship, how opener, what demonstrating value is, what negs are, what qualifying is, comfort, the ideas, seduction, the ideas. That will be useful to have that template in your mind because that is correct. It's just the way, how could a book transfer how dynamic social dynamics are? It's just impossible. But it can definitely lay out the formulas, and then you have to go and solve all the problems of life with it. That's the formula, but it's a trap. It's because 100% of guys who practice that or any other system of game become inauthentic. They were already inauthentic, but at least they were innocent, ignorant, but innocent. Then they learn game and they become careless and still ignorant, but no longer innocent. And that's the repercussions of the game too. So you'll get a girl that's out of your league, over your head. She'll crush your heart, and you won't be able to handle it. because you didn't even have the nervous system to get her. You just used shortcuts that someone else told you and you mimicked it and whatever.
And it's interesting how he says there's the end game. The end game, obviously, like, it ended with, sex or whatever, but not just the end of that, like, to that situation or whatever, but, like, there's going to be a breakup eventually, or it's going to be over with at some point.
Or it lasts forever, which is rare.
Yeah.
AZD's been with his girl 20 years. It's a long time.
Yes. But yeah,
So, yeah,
um,
the end game of the pickup, those guys will talk about the pickup. There's varying definitions for it. Like you pick up the girl would be like you get the number, make the plans for the date, and that's what people would call the pickup. Other people, like in the mystery method, the pickup would be all the way to sex. You're picking her up, right? And maybe it's a 2 year set, maybe it's a 2 hour set, however long that takes. uh, you know, I would still consider that the pickup. I just wouldn't call, I would have to qualify it as end game of the pickup versus end game. End game is, man, can you reach enlightenment while you're in a relationship and guide her all the way to enlightenment before you'll both die? Like that's the end game. So, or the end game is a long, fulfilling relationship that doesn't seem to have any end to it. Obviously, you die, she dies, whatever. But like the end game is finding the perfect harmony and balance. And the uh, situation or the thing that AZD found or realized for himself that he was brave enough to act on and built his message around was the idea that to keep a 10, the only way to keep a 10 is to get other 10s. That's the only way to keep a 10 in the long term. And it's not just it feeds our masculinity and like yeah, but it actually is also just the truth. And then seeing that, holding that is one of the many ingredients necessary to sustain the effort long enough to get good enough at this thing. Because it's one thing to realize the truth of keep a 10, you got to get other 10s. It's another thing to get your skills to a level to get a 10 and keep other 10s. That journey is so much longer than it appears for every single person who looks at it. And some people are foolhardy enough to go for it, and most of them are not disciplined enough to follow through. And the rest of us are the ones who live in Vegas. And so I encourage guys to go for it. Just go for it
yeah.
because if you tiptoe around, you'll deplete your resources in that process, and then when you decide to go for it, you won't be able to go for it in the same way.
So I'm doing it now.
That's right. So come around, and that's going to be real exciting when you're here. Okay, guys. Anybody else on live want to come live? We'll give last the option if you want to get some dialogue in about game. What's on your mind, Zach? Anything from what we're saying?
No, I think I'm good at the moment.
Did you get the? I think there was another book, the Alien book.
I did. The
Have you
way of
started that
right, yeah. That's the other one you
with
mentioned.
the interview?
No, I haven't heard of that one yet. The interview
Well,
about
did I? Oh, I recommended The Way of Men. I think.
that's it.
Did you get that one? Where are you at with that?
Haven't started that one yet.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Counter to the mystery method. Mystery is straight game and talking about girls. The other guy is Tribe, and that's cornerstone of AZD's game is the reputation you have with your tribe and having a tribe, and that's also the part where you know it's one thing to recognize the truth of Apex game and what it takes, the ingredients that it takes to be the Apex player. It's another thing to go back to your life because Apex game is built on being the alpha of a team, of a tribe. And as you get deeper into it, you realize that the students are also alphas, and there's always a hierarchy in the military. And you could say it's the alpha of the military, but who's more alpha in the game? He is more alpha for the time being, and it's not a competition like that. But it's alpha is a measurement against the code. The code determines the alpha. It's not a hierarchical ranking. I could be more alpha than my boss or my employer, but he's alpha over me in the organization. So there's a difference between organizational alpha, beta, whatever, versus in the game of life, are you an alpha character, an alpha player, or not? And it does depend on other people and other guys being around and whatever, but it's just a different measurement. It would be like saying, are you cool? He's more cool. Well, how cool are you? We're cool, or you're artistic. How artistic are you? He could at the highest levels that you can't compare the art. You could talk about them in contrast to each other, but who's better, that artist or this artist? an artist of music, an artist of paint, or two different painters, whatever. It's probably totally different kinds of art, and take your preference. Who's better? That's a preference. Versus Picasso versus some college artist. It would be kind of obvious they're better, even if it's different art, better. So uh, when a person realizes that to go back to their life, they're going to need a team to the way AZV games and his strategies are. I don't even want to call them strategies, but his just ways of communicating and conducting himself and everything as we go in and out of venues, how he does his relationships, basically everything about his philosophy is built around having a team. And so if you take those philosophies and you don't have a team, you'll have a very good code of conduct. You'll see where you'll have other opportunities to gain advantage as a solo wolf, but those opportunities would compromise if you had a team. But since you don't have a team, it will be very enticing to do those other shortcuts in the game. And once you reach some success with those other shortcuts, it will be difficult to let go of those advantages to join a team. So this is what we see in the few handful of players who have joined IMC, like Marin, like Eros, like these are guys. Um, other guys coming to Kyle F. Like these guys that get women, even dating coaches to some level, which all of those guys were. And, you know, big lay count, whatever. Never mind the quality and the quality relationships garbage. But that's what dating coaches are these days, lay count type guys. And those guys had a lot of difficulty integrating with the team because the team, if you were loyal to your team, you may have to say no to a girl because you have an activity with your team. Or you may need to say no to a girl because there's an emergency. Or you may not be able to get as sloppy drunk and fuck that girl because your team would look down on it if you did that right now. And so, whereas you would get laid and you might even make her a girlfriend, a lot of guys get girlfriends that way. You wouldn't do that if your team looked down on it, or you would lose respect to the team. And then it, you'll either you'll change and ask forgiveness, or you drop out of the team because it's a difference in values. And so that's a very easy way to see like a guy that would get a girl really drunk and get drunk with her and go off and solo party, whatever, and have sex, whatever. Like we don't look up to that. That's so basic. It's nothing. And when you realize that that is not going to help your game at all in the long run to get a higher value woman and a higher quality relationship. That's why we look down on it because it doesn't contribute to our movement and it's not contributing to your evolution. It's just, we'll see you tomorrow, bro. And you'll be the same as today, but we will have grown. And so now you got to catch up. And so we don't want a guy on the team that's holding the team back. So but the guy would get more lays and could definitely stay out later, not have accountability in the morning, not have to wake up a certain time because we have group meetings and things. So the group has certain accountability where if you were a lone wolf, you could take shortcuts to get more, quote, results in the short term with girls. The double-edged sword of that is that those short-term results are just going to be traps that you'll either get kicked up with a girl, get a girl pregnant, or at the very best, just deplete some time and resources and not really get better at game because you were doing a bunch of unconscious activities like a chimpanzee, basically just fucking. And then you come back to the team and we will have surpassed you further. It'll be discouraging. You'll get charged to do the trainings again, and you'll feel like I'm the king because I got all these girls, but why are you charging me? I should be coaching for you guys. And it's like, bro, but we don't want to learn your game. Your game are shortcuts to try to get sex, but where's your results? That's why you don't have the quality of girls, quality of relationships. You're measuring something different. And really, those guys all hate their mothers. That's why they need so much sex for validation instead of relationships. So that's just what it boils down to. Maybe there's exceptions to that. I mean, I can't say that's for everybody, but that's what it was for those guys. And that's what it seems to be about all the guys that are so lust hungry, with the exception of the guys that are just like really, it's not even an exception. There are guys who like are virgins or haven't had sex in a long time. It's the same thing for them. I don't know. I can't blank a blanket statement that they hate their mothers. They definitely have his issues. And I think if, uh, we got to the root of it, it would be some sort of resentment about how they were raised and they have problems expressing themselves in a sexual way. Uh, that would be necessary to get the girl. Like when you see AZD's game, one of the most debilitating, paralyzing aspects of AZD's game is how sexual he gets with the girls in public, not in public, in the venues. And he's not sexual like touching them in sleazy ways. It's a sexual conversation. That's the thing. Everybody's had sex. You put your dick in the girl and grab her titties, and it's like, how much dirtier are you going to get than that? You're fingering her. Like, it's as dirty as you're going to get. But how dirty has your conversation been with the girl? And man, he's got vocabulary and he's got ways of describing things. And you'll feel inferior, you'll feel stunned, you'll feel shocked, you'll feel aroused. You go through all kinds of it, and then you feel uncomfortable about it. And it's like by overhearing that, and you see that that's not even end game for him. That's just a little thing he'll say, and then he'll go off doing something else. Like his mastery, he just takes the girl so far and then brings it back. Takes her so far and brings her back. And he'll do it with two, three girls, no shyness. Like he's so familiar with beauty and groups. And you'll see a reference of Apex. It's and it's a journey. So I'll try to help you get as much as you can with the journey. That's why I give you the tech before the residency. That's what I kind of started talking to you about. Is that the residency will far surpass what you pay for it, just in itself. But my interest is in making a messenger, aka a long-term student. Every long-term student is going to be a messenger. He's going to get drop off because he's gonna feel left out because he is left out. There's no way he can match the evolution. So 35 guys moved to Vegas. 12 are still here, and they moved. That means they moved. You know what it takes to move somewhere? Like they moved here. 35 of you moved. Only 12 remain. Some still live in Vegas. They just don't train anymore, and they're doing normal shit. And it's laughable because they were obviously so dedicated. And why they couldn't make it was valuing women, lust hungry, undisciplined, other habits that they are guilty about or hiding. Basically, secrets. It comes down to secrets. But most of the time, secrets, almost all the time, the secrets comes down to a girl. And that's the tribe. They're embarrassed about their conduct with a girl or a relationship they're in, or in some way they've betrayed the tribe in conversation with the girl and they can't face that. So they're lying to the girl or they're lying to the tribe. And since they're lust hungry, they end up staying with the girl and departing from the tribe, never admitting to either that they were lying. And that's their character, and that's going to be the result of their future. That girl is going to find out, and she's lying too. She's a bitch. She's dumb. Girl, there's no righteous girls. Like so, it's just a ridiculous situation. So that's what happens. But that's the planet. So you and everybody else has a bunch of demons in them of ideas that are counterproductive, self-destructive, and will obscure reasoning to the point where you would betray your own tribe who helps you so good for some short-term advantage that you've reasoned is more advantageous for yourself. It's not. It's not. But blockages in the mind, you could call those demons. There's a whole vocabulary about that stuff. So you don't have to get too caught up about that. But I believe you're into that magic stuff anyway, so it's not a big deal. But it's a different template and understanding of these sorts of things that one person says demon, another person says demon, don't mean the same thing. One person says love, another person says love, they don't mean the same thing. They may mean the same thing, but language is like that. But here we have a common language. That's the jargon of mystery method pickup. Common language. What's a neg? What's a DHV? What's last minute resistance? Like you have to explain these things to outsiders, but we have a common language so we can talk fast about these things. And so we've developed a lot of common language like coherence, nervous system stability. These are words that mean something to everybody who hears them, but we are talking about them in a certain context. Damn, this fucking thing is sliding off. Here we go. All right. So, man, I like talking about this, but I got to find more Zachs, more guys who want to come to Vegas and just completely till the soil, upheaval, turn over the soil you're working with when it comes to social dynamics and relationships with mom, dad, and of course, women, sister, brother, kids, wife, other men, employers. It's just Zach is imaginary. This guy doesn't think I'm talking to somebody. Didn't you hear him unmute? Or did you think that was me miming? Like you couldn't see my lips. I was just like, "Hi, my name is Zach, and I'm from Florida." And like, what do they do with the ventriloquist, the ventriloquism? He's right there, bro. Anybody want to go live? There's nobody here but me talking to myself. Got it. Well, maybe over there. Man, this would be so exciting if somebody wanted to talk game. I want to talk game with somebody that wants to talk game. JD, let's talk game. You're busy, bro. You don't got time to talk to. Okay, JD's gonna talk game to you guys for a second. Tell these guys what's up.
Other platforms. What's up, brothers? What's going on? Master myself, okay, JD, and
I was just thinking if we had a five bedroom
yeah.
and the little bedroom we just make into a little mini studio.
Mm-hmm.
But then I guess we could also just use the big main studio, but that would be in the kitchen, so there might be noise. It's a common area.
Yeah.
So if we had the little room and just made it in a little podcast studio, everybody could have their own podcast area, and you just kind of sign the time that you're going to use it,
Wow,
or something.
that would be cool.
Just an idea.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Man, talking game. I mean, shit. I'm talking some high level shit, man. Yeah, man. I mean, shit. The shit is real. You know, it's real over here in person. Yeah, I'm master myself, man. I've been around for shit. It's been just as long as Yogi, actually, about 11 years now. You know, and I'll sit down for a second. Um, Man, just to put it simply, this is real life, and when you show up in person, it becomes real for you. From the outside, it looks like something completely different, and that's something that I got to constantly remind myself of. That a lot of people from the outside just have no idea what's going on inside of here in Vegas. But I'm at like just imagine if you ever go to strip clubs, you ever been in any kind of strip clubs before I came here to Vegas and moved and was around and tapping in with AZD. I was going to strip clubs back in Phoenix, right where I'm from, and whatever clubs I was tapping in with, there was just a certain level of game that I could access, but I was literally just modeling what I saw from AZD because he was living originally in San Jose, right? So I would mimic and do everything that I could, right, from where I was, but essentially, the more that I came around and when I officially moved to Vegas, man, I had a different reality, you know what I'm saying, and I didn't know what was possible. I still, I'm saying, I'm still exploring that. But I mean, I've been with, multiple, dancers out here, you know what I'm saying? I've been in spaces where I've seen AZD do just some magical shit, man, like some Jedi level shit. And, it's like type shit. I don't even know how to talk about it really because it's like, man, that just happened. Like, I'm talking about like the subtlest form of, um, influence, to the the club managers, to the dancers, to the waitresses, to like everybody in the venue is under his influence and control in those moments. And it's like something that you got to really see in person if you have reality on it. But when you see that, it becomes reality. You can see what's possible for you, and it changes, your reality. It changes your consciousness. It's real, man. I don't know how else to say
Keep
it,
going. Keep going.
but yeah, it's so it's man, it's magic, and essentially what is available to you, you don't know until you come and see it for yourself. When you have reality on it, you can make sense of, okay, now I see what's happening on the outside. It's just not what's the actual experience here, live and in person. And just being around AZD will change your vibration, will change your feel, will change the way that you relate to the world, and you'll see like, man, there's somebody that's living so ethically, so clean, so on a straight line, a straight narrow path. We've heard about Jesus, you've heard about Buddha, all of this, right? You've heard about that shit, but this is a man that's living it. And it's live, it's here, it's in person. So it's like you get to be a testament to it once you come into coherence. You know what I'm saying? When you come into real connection, with what's available here, it changes the way that you see life, man. And I'm man, I've seen some crazy shit. I grew up as a martial artist, you know what I'm saying, back where I grew up at, and I live in a whole, or I came from a whole nother world, but that world for me, it's so much um value for me now because I'm coming into a greater awareness of myself. Like essentially, the messenger's technology, what AZD teaches you or allows you to really reveal or come into understanding about yourself. That's the kind of the material. That's the kind of thing that changes. That's the technology that changes you, right? You don't know what you're missing out on until you come into contact with it, And it's again, it's a path, man, worth walking. I've been shit struggling to live whatever life I was trying to create, you know what I'm saying, for the longest time. But I came here and this was like the first manifestation. That was a time back in like Actually, when I first came in contact with ACD, one of my dreams was to be around and be in his like inner circle. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember seeing this man online. I was learning from him for 6 years online, you know, and I was like, man, I really want to learn from this guy. I just want to get in contact with this, see if this shit is real. I remember showing up in San Jose the first time. And the first time I ever met him, man, remember I was walking with Yogi Chris and with another student back in the time. His name was Raul Solorio. We were walking in the parking lot going up to AZD's, apartment. Because back then he was teaching out of his apartment. And essentially when which martial arts did you train in? JD, which martial art did you train in? Tong Sudo. Tong Sudo is a Korean karate. It's the same karate that Chuck Norris, grew up, what I'm saying, learning or whatever the case may be. So, but anyways, yeah, so we're walking, bro. We're like, so I think we came from the 7-Eleven was like right next door to his like apartment complex, right? And this is like, any kind of apartment complex. It's like, man, imagine being in admiration of a man for 6 years, what I'm saying, online and being like, man, this man's living with multiple women. I seen him, bro, when I was first coming around. I was tapped in with ACD where he was just AD, right? The Rosh Divazar. And literally when I first came around, he had 12 different women. So I would show up to his live streams, right? He would have live streams and he would have a room full of 12 girls, 6 girls on one side, literally, another 6 girls on the other side, and it was him, right? And he would be in this room and he's literally showing and basically holding court, holding conversation with everybody that was around. And during that time, it was amazing just to see how he was running that dynamic. I mean, it was the last time you seen a man sitting in a room with 12 women, you know what I'm saying, and leading the whole conversation and being the one in charge. Like that was something for me that just changed my psychology. I was like, man, I never in my life have I seen some shit. I didn't know this was possible, first of all. So I was like, man, let me get closer, as close as I could, you know what I'm saying, for the longest time. And a lot of that, man, over the 6 years, me just studying online, eventually that led to me actually taking the step, actually got in contact, or Yogi Chris got in contact with me and was like, hey man, I know you're down for this shit. You've been around for 6 years, just as long as me. He was like, when you coming in person? And it was like, for me, it was like, man, I didn't even know that was possible. Like I, I was like, man, yeah, I know that, people were doing that shit. And actually, the first time that I actually came into awareness of like what was possible was like when the first time I did a large training. Back then the trainings was like $2,000, right, for a boot camp. And it was like literally I was just online, right? And if you came in person, it was like double that, like 4,500 or whatever. But so I signed up for that, and it was through another coach named Akito back in the day, right? He was a black guy, big, tall, buff dude. And essentially, so I was sold then, basically, and I got a certain level of information, but it's just different. If I was learning online, I was learning that whole, boot camp basically online, right? And so I got what I could from that, but it's different when you go in person because the moment I showed up in person, like I said, back to that parking lot story, we're walking in the parking lot. I remember turning to Yogi Chris and being like, man, I feel like I'm walking in a movie right now, right? And Yogi Chris slowly looks back at me and he's like, you are. And man, that was such a moment because it was like, boom, I'm walking from there, probably like the next, I don't know, 30 seconds. My heart is beating, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, man, I'm about to go meet, AZD. It was just somebody I just looked up to for such a long time. So I remember walking up and he greeted like Yogi, he greeted the other guy because I think they had met before. But then he just like looked at me and was just like, "What's up?" And I was like, "Man, it was just so dope, man. It was like legendary moment, you know what I'm saying? Because I was like, it was just like somebody that you idolize, you know what I'm saying? At some point, I really was idolizing him, and I didn't know that I could have this level of connection, you know what I'm saying? And that's what it comes down to, man. IMC all the way around. I've integrated my whole life around IMC. I mean, every brother that I'm in contact with now is IMC, you know what I'm saying? And somehow, some way is correlated to IMC. Like everybody else, I'm one of the promoters out here in Vegas, right? So I do promotions, you know what I'm saying, for the last like year and a half. Nightclubs, strip clubs, primarily strip clubs is my main, you know what I'm saying, source. And I mean anything, massage parlors, all that shit, right? But essentially I've built into that network only because of my connections in IMC, right? And I moved to Vegas because of IMC, and it was, it was that was the foundation. So, I just have seen myself evolve so much. I've dedicated. That's what it takes. It takes like if you really want to get it, you got to dedicate yourself. You got to commit. You got to integrate yourself into this lifestyle. There's guys that came here, live here for residency, doing what Zach, what you about to be doing, man. When you coming out here, was a guy that initially he came out for 2 weeks And you ended up staying basically 90 days, like 3 months, you know what I'm saying, after that, because he was like, man, this is it. And he was a very young guy. He's still online, from time to time, but it's just like, he's got to find his way to integrate, into this network, because man, there's going to be a day, and it's coming very, very soon, where the whole world is aware of who AZD is. And that in itself, him being noticed by the rest of the world, or recognized by the rest of the world is going to come and be like, well, what's happening here? And that's the truth of what it is that we're experiencing. So it's amazing, man. It's happening, it's here. And Vegas is, man, it's Vegas. You know what I'm saying? So if you heard about Vegas, you've been to Vegas, then this is definitely a place to come and learn and play the game, But again, let alone you're playing the game with one of the greatest players in the world. You know what I'm saying?
Jesus, Will. Fucking talk about a dropout. Fucking Will.
Mhm.
Man, I haven't seen Will in 5 years. He was around during when we were living at IMC Base One, the original. And
Man.
yeah, he had done, I think, one or two boot camps at the time, but I never met him in person. So I guess he was just online. He just left after I invited him here. Whatever. All right. Everybody, this has been going a while. Go to the link in the bio, whatever you see there. That's a way to get involved. There's a Telegram group where we have free classes with AZD. I post it there. We have a newsletter that has a bunch of free content on it. And just get involved. The more you educate yourself, the more you like it. It's a rabbit hole. Everything will lead to the next thing, will lead to the next thing until you're playing the game at levels that you didn't know were possible for yourself. And you have more awareness of cause and effect and what you're doing, what effects you're causing, and how to really have a harmonious relationship. Really, that's the goal, right? And the goal is really to transcend that. Even it's not about the relationship is a byproduct of your life, and that's the better game. Oh, Willie tried to. Oh, maybe he didn't. I don't know. Okay, so I like talking to you guys forever, but we got to move on to the next thing. Salute everybody. Be the best. Fuck the rest. IMC Nation. Oh, see you soon, Zach. He'll be here in 2 weeks.